Welcome to Lesson 9 on Interactions and Interdependence. So this is our last SC, SC19, Explain the Importance of Sustainable Development. So we're going to start by clicking on the link in the booklet, and I've also linked it in Shobi. Okay, so go to Shobi, click on week 5, which is the green folder, click on lesson 9, go to shared items, and you can see there the big long link. You just click on there and you'll get this page, 17 Sustainable Development Goals, okay? And you can see that the development goals are written down there, and there's a little symbol for each one. We're going to come back to those later, but for now what I want you to do is watch the video about sustainable development. So if you click on the video, you can also press the little corner button on the top left to maximize it, and yeah, watch the video thoroughly, please. So make sure you are now pausing this video so that you can go and watch the other video. Okay, so I sent you in the post some 2 pieces of card with these colourful pictures on, and each of these is a sustainable development card. So we're going to use those in a minute, so make sure that you go and collect those now, please. If you look at one of the pieces of card, it's actually got double copies of the cards on. So if you cut along the centre, so between 15 and 12, and then you can get rid of one of them. Maybe keep it just in case anything goes wrong. And then you should be left with cards number 1 through to 17, okay? So now we're ready to start cutting our cards out. Now I really want you to please take the time to cut these out neatly. So don't rush this, take your time, cut nice and straight and evenly. You're going to go through and cut out all of the cards until you have a stack of 17 and then the extra one that says Sustainable Development Cards on it. Okay, so make sure that you have cut out all 17 or 18 actually of your cards. Pause the video here. Do not go on until you have cut out all your cards neatly, please. So let's start by thinking about what sustainable development actually is. So when you develop an area, you can do it in a way that is considered sustainable or not sustainable. So for example, if I needed wood to make toilet rolls, for example, I could cut down an entire forest, or I could cut down some trees and replant trees as well as I go. Now, which one of those do you think is sustainable? Well, of course, it's the one where we cut down some trees and replant some. So the key to sustainable development is that you are developing something in a way where you're not harming or permanently damaging the environment. So it's important that humans are able to change the environment like this and use resources, but without causing permanent damage. So on your card that says Sustainable Development Cards on the front, so the white card on the front with no picture, you're going to write this description on the back, which is a summary of what I've just said. So I will put a picture of this summary, and then you can just pause the video and copy the summary onto the back of your card, please. Make sure you paused and did the definition if you haven't already. Do it now. So So now we're going to go on to do our research about how the UN has decided we're going to move forward with sustainable development in some particular areas. So there are 17 cards that we need to do. I would recommend starting at number 1 and working your way down. So if you look on this main page where you watched the video earlier, you can see number 1, no poverty. If you click on there, you can open up the information about it. So please pause now and open research page number 1, no poverty. Okay, so there's a lot of information on here and I don't want you to have to do too much reading. You're already going to have to do quite a lot for this task. So if you look where I'm pointing, that paragraph there and then the paragraph that I'm pointing to now, you don't need to read through those 2 paragraphs, okay? Skip those 2. Okay, so grab your card number 1 and then scroll down to where you can see 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 and so on. So those are the actual action points of how they're going to try and end poverty in a sustainable way. So if you turn your card over, your card won't be red by the way, but don't worry about that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to skim read those points there. And I'm going to try and just pick out a few things that they are going to do to try and sustainably eradicate poverty. So one thing that stood out to me was that they're going to try and set up social protection systems. Another is that they're going to try and make sure everyone has equal rights to resources that are around the world, because in some countries poorer people might not have the same rights as richer people. And they're going to reduce their poor people's exposure to natural disasters, because obviously when there's like an earthquake and things like that, it's always the poorest people who get hit the worst. And then my last thing that I'm going to write down is that they're going to provide charitable help to people. Actually, I'm going to write one more down. So I'm going to put that they're going to invest in poor people as well. So I would recommend that you pause and have a go at doing just card 1 for now. If you're struggling to understand what they're saying on a particular point, then just leave that one out and go on to one that you do understand. So you don't need to have as many points as I have, but as long as you've got, let's say, 2 points for each card. Okay, so once you've done the first card, then you can move back onto the main page and then click on card 2. So goal 2 is to end hunger. So grab your end hunger card, turn it over, and you're going to do the same thing where you don't bother reading the first 2 paragraphs. You go straight down to the 2.1, 2.2 and so on. I'm just going to give it a little title, End Hunger. And then once again, I'm going to pick out the main things that they're going to try and do to sustainably end hunger. And remember, if there's a point that you don't understand what they're saying, just completely leave it out and pick out the easy things that you can see that they're going to do. Don't write whole long sentences, just write little short bullet points like I'm doing, okay? So you're going to continue doing that for all 17 of the cards, okay? Now, if that takes you more than an hour, stop when it's the end of the lesson and you can carry on in tomorrow's lesson or the next lesson of the week. So don't worry, you don't have to finish this, just work on it for 1 hour. If you finish all your cards and you have time, then upload them to Shobi into the Sustainable Development Cards section. You need to take a picture of the back of the cards, not the front, but only do this if you have time. And well done, that's the lesson completed. Remember, don't panic if you haven't finished your cards, you can carry on next lesson.